Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Being Human Now show. I'm your host, Jennifer Locksmith, and today we have Stacy Hernandez with us. Stacy is a member of the Lightbody Academy, whose mission is to empower an awakening world. She is a facilitator, ancestral healing guide, and multidimensional way shower. She holds expanded awareness to track and dissolve inherited trauma, energetic distortions, and unconscious imprints carried through ancestral and multidimensional lineages. Through one-on-one sessions and teaching the art of energy tracking, she supports others in awakening spiritually, reclaiming sovereignty, and remembering the deeper truth of who they are beyond the human story. From an early age, Stacy witnessed her mother's living relationship with the ancestors. At the time, this awareness felt natural and unremarkable, and the gift was set aside. As her multidimensional work deepened, she began to recognize the sacred significance of ancestral connection to fully reclaim this innate ability, stepping into her role as a conscious communicator with the ancestors and a clear vessel for healing and remembrance. Stacy's services include ancestral healing, death rites, multidimensional energy clearing, property clearing, and spiritual mentoring. I also want to tell the audience that she is offering a free group multidimensional energy clearing, which is every fourth Sunday of each month from 10 to 11 a.m. Mountain Time. And during this clearing, we will uncover hidden blind spots of wounding, dissolve old imprints and behaviors, and clear the multidimensional energetic patterns impacting ourselves and the collective, and remember their sovereignty and reclaim their inner authority. You can find out more at www.lightbodyacademy.com/energy-clearing. Stacy, thank you so much for all the work you do on behalf of all the realms. You are appreciated, and I'm so grateful to have you here today.
Wow, I'm right back at you, sister. Thank you.
Yeah,
Really
so
excited to be here.
yeah, we've got a lot of really cool stuff to cover. Um, the overarching topic today is going to be a topic you sent to me, which is just a beautiful fit for the channel. Creating sacred relationships with our human and non-human ancestors as allies in healing, guidance, and remembrance for ourselves and our loved ones.
Yes.
So I know we kind of touched on it in the introduction,
Yeah.
but what got you started on this path of ancestral healing?
Yeah. Well, thank you. And if I tear up, it's just because the energies are so strong right now that
Yeah.
it is either energy moving through me or just the power and the impact of the space we're holding and what's coming
Awesome.
forward. So just don't
Yeah.
mind it.
It's okay. I
I'm
might
starting
tear
to
up
tear up.
too.
So, I think with, how you talked about the intro, first of all, and this is so remarkable because in Lightbody, we also have this like dream time program, and we were doing a dream time clinic this morning and tracking a part of my dream. And something that Christina Schwinn brought forward, which you have interviewed as well, that like that reminded me of it's like there's so many, let's say, spiritual conversations happening out there, not only here in the human collective of the conversations we're having, but the beings that are trying to communicate with us on a daily basis, right? And what she brought forward when she was talking about this, like these conversations that are always being had, meaning we are always being communicated to. Right. And we just have to pay attention and listen and be in our silence and be in our contemplation and listen. That is the life I grew up with in terms of as a child. And now, literally, this morning, the light bulb came on around this, that even as a child, there was so much energy overload, meaning I was constantly listening to the chatter. We could call it cosmic chatter, we could call it spiritual chatter, we can call it chatter of the, let's say, of the spiritual realm, the spirit realm. Okay. That kind of energy I was in all the time.
So you
I
were
didn't know
psychic.
it. Yeah,
Okay.
but I didn't know. Yeah, I guess so. I don't, I didn't define it in any way. I still kind of have a hard time defining it. It was meaning like, why am I hearing everything? Why do I understand what every single person is going through? Why do I understand their emotions and their feelings? Why am I hearing their thoughts? Why am I seeing these things? Why are these things happening? But I just in the animals, forget about the animals. Like that's the hardest, because I overlay human emotion on top of the animal stuff, feeling that they're suffering like we are. There's a lot of layers to it. But the sensitivities were always there. Let's call it that. Like a lot of us,
Yeah.
right? but got shut down so early because our families didn't understand, or we had wanted to fit into society, or whatever the word, whatever it was. Our paths are probably very similar in those ways. And this layer on top of it, where I watched my mother always communicating with our people. Anytime she wanted to have like really go into contemplation, she would connect with an ancestor. She would have conversations throughout the day. She was always in that space. So I watched her. We weren't someone, even though we kind of were raised within a particular religion, that wasn't anything important to us. That was just kind of like passed down. So we did it at first and then realized that's not for us as a family. But what was the key was the ancestor communication. That was always just the way it was, but I never talked about it. I never, because I just thought it was nothing. I just thought it was just the way it was. That everyone, when their grandmothers would pass, or their sisters or brothers or whoever, you would talk to them. Like that's what I thought the normal thing was. So I didn't realize until a few years ago that I was gifted this, let's say, this way of being with the ancestors that isn't like a normal part of especially Western society, or the Western world. So that's kind of my upbringing, was just really being around these sensitivities, and of course had lots of initiations throughout life that amplified a lot of pain and suffering and all the things. But it was really, and I started very much waking up once I started having children, and I'm 50 now, and I had children in my 30s, really waking up to understanding like my sensitivities in this greater, let's say, spiritual realm of things.
Wow,
Yeah,
so cool. So cool. That's awesome. I wish I'd had that exposure when I was younger, but we're all on our own path, right? So that's
absolutely. Yes,
awesome.
and you have it now, right?
Yes,
And
yeah.
it's not turning back to the old ways. It's like going forward with that. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I think a lot of people might be surprised. I mean, when you talk about ancestors, I think a lot of people are thinking blood relatives, and it does include that, but
Of
what
course.
does ancestors mean encompass when you talk about them?
Yes, yes. And so the way I was raised, it was blood relatives. Okay, so
Hmm.
that was the extent of it in terms of that. But my knowing became a lot more than that, because I already had that knowing, but I didn't connect it or understand it or really appreciate it and work with it until a lot later. So our ancestors, of course, are our biological or whoever guardians raised us lineages,
Hmm.
right? And I believe also, if let's say you've been with someone for a long time, marriage, partnership, whatever that is, you start to adopt a lot of that lineage stuff too. They become a part of your people too.
Oh, wow.
Energetically, you get very connected to someone when you're with them for a long time. They become a family, right? A part of the family. Even energetically, spiritually, they do too. So there's pieces there. Now it's not as strong, but they are definitely a part of things, and you can see when you start tracking into, let's say you have a partner and you track into their lineages, and that like you have a familial connection with them by that point, you can see the attractions of why you got together, even through the lineage, because there's certain lineage, let's say, themes throughout each side that then attracts you to, and you watch it with like your mother and father, if they were together, and their attraction. You see it with your grandparents. It's a fascinating world to go into when you're talking about, like, say, the bloodlines. We also, lineage wise, we have all our past lives, and who you were or what you were in those lifetimes, you have those lineages. So already the vastness, we went from bloodlines all the way back, right? Until like the creation of that lineage, to then our past lives. So well, we could say our extended family of, if you're in partnership, to these lifetimes and the ancestries in those lifetimes. So if you remember lifetimes, let's say you as a Sasquatch, or lifetimes when you were a Palladian or something, then you have all those lineages to work with as well. So you have all the hats, you know.
So cool.
And then as us as in our humanness, and we can also say our cosmic levels too, we have those certain planetary connections as well. So like absolutely Pachamama is a lineage, our people, right? She's a part of our lineage. That means then the whole elemental realm of this planet is. So then you think about like a tree is our relative as well, right? And we hear a lot of indigenous cultures talk about this, that all of the elemental realm, all of the natural world is our people, is our ancestry as well. So our not is our that as well. So we have like all this vastness of ancestry that we're talking through. And I also believe, let's say we haven't had a lifetime. I'm going to just use a Palladian. Let's just use something like that, just because something's simple, more simple right now. Let's say you didn't have any lifetimes, so you don't feel like, oh, I don't have a connection or a ancestry. But Palladians are one of the original seed races for humanity. And so we have DNA, Palladian DNA. So then that's a lineage piece, just like Sasquatch, just like Syrians, just like Hyperboreans, just like so there's all of that, and you can also find vastness in even out in the cosmic levels of connection because of our oneness as well,
Yeah.
right? So if we can go, I mean, this is endless.
Yeah.
The,
Talk
the
about
ancestry
expansive.
thing,
My goodness.
yeah. Absolutely. So when I talk about ancestry and the multidimensional, let's say within a multidimensional lens, I'm talking about this level of vastness.
Okay.
And all of those can be impacting us and sure do.
Hmm.
Not just like how our mother and father or whatever they passed down to us, whatever we inherited from our great great grandparents, whatever I mean, we're talking different levels of inheritance here.
Yeah. Yeah, like Sasquatch, the elementals. So that includes, yeah. Oh my gosh, is it true? I've heard that we travel in soul groups throughout lifetimes. Is this a fact or is that
I've seen both,
okay?
definitely. I definitely see like frequencies match frequency, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I see like often, almost like I don't think I've ever not seen it, where if I'm working with someone and let's say I see like their relationship with a partner or their relationship with like a mother or father or sibling or something, I can then see the lifetimes they had together for sure. And so then you can see a grouping in those ways as well. And often, almost every time I'm doing lineage work and I'm like, let's say tracking bloodline lineage, I can then expand out to how this same, let's say, behavior pattern, something that has been impacted in the lineage that was adopted by, the person inherited, then I can see how it's expressed in past lives as well. So everything is interconnected. So I have
Yeah.
seen individual soul journeys without groupings. I've seen it both with and without. So I've seen lifetimes of people who had groupings and then lifetimes where they didn't have groupings.
Okay.
So when we're, when we know when we're tapping into the multidimensional experience, we are talking about beyond the 3D linear, right? Nothing is linear. So everything everywhere all at once is the energy. So every time we kind of like put a label on something, then and you're in the multidimensional space, then you're realizing like, whoa, this is a whole different meaning than what we thought, but we see it this way when we look at it this way, but then we see a whole different level of it in another way that's totally different.
Yeah.
So like this is that new paradigm versus old, right? We're coming into like the definition of things are so shifting that all the old ways we've been taught are even like going out the window. Some ancient ways are coming back for sure, but yeah, so I could say yes and no and all of the above.
Yes. I love it. We're in
Yeah,
exciting times. And
really are.
so you've said that a lot of like the choices we make are not from us, they're actually from our ancestry. So how do we
Mhm.
decide what's ours and what isn't ours as far as working with?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, this is such a big topic and such a good one to ask
Hmm.
because the way the energies are showing up with that are now looking so different than they used to. When we used to do this really before this like new paradigm energy, when we were really kind of before the veils really started lifting, we could see a lot of individual choice in things, right?
Hmm.
Like you chose these parents and you chose this life and you chose this suffering and you chose that, right? Yes, we know on some level of our consciousness we created a path, right? We chose certain things to experience. As heartbreaking as that is, and the horror that many of us have gone through this lifetime or others, to choose slavery, to choose assault, to choose these things, it doesn't feel like in our 3D human mind, why would we do that? That's not, but we have to think about the bigger picture of all of this. We have the power over dynamic overlays, right? The dark energies that influenced a lot of things. We have also our inherited pieces from our ancestry that influence choice. So even if we consciously made a choice, they were influenced by other things. It could be a dark force, it could be the power over dynamics, it could be the ancestry, it could be a societal expectation. So even in our choice, whether we made choices or not, the energies often up until really this new expansion we're in have really been influenced, really, like this is that dark force energy as it came in, through Orion, the Orion Wars coming in, the dark force energies, the Draconians, the, reptilians, all this kind of Anunnaki stuff, all that, right? There was so much that we thought was our choice and we made that we were influenced over. So inheritance and other influences, but also I know for me, and I'm wondering if you've experienced this, I know I chose my parents, right? But I probably chose it with a wounded lens originally on a soul level because I was coming from one incarnation to another and chose
Yeah.
my parents because I wanted certain things to come forward for me in this lifetime.
Hmm.
But again, was that choice but conscious? In some ways, yes. In some ways, it was kind of influenced, let's
Yeah.
say.
I wonder about that too. It's interesting. I'll just answer you. I was born to a Sicilian family in South Philadelphia, but I was adopted when I was a month old. And so I was raised in South Jersey by, like white Anglo-Saxon Protestants. Yeah.
Wow,
So then
very
sometimes I
interesting.
do wonder whether I chose that or whether that was something that happened in the 3D. I don't know.
Hmm.
But yeah, so
Hmm.
very
You know,
interesting.
this is so cool because we'll want to dive into this.
Yeah.
There is a woman I in particular work with, and this has happened with some others, but one that I regularly work with who is adopted and doesn't know anything about her biological parents, and this is an older woman. And when ancestor stuff comes up, there's very distinct people who come up. Sometimes it's a biological mother, sometimes it's the adopted mother or father or whatever. So they're very much all a part of her ancestry, though.
Hmm.
Very much. And even though she does, even if let's say a biological piece comes forward from a biological parent and she's like, I don't know anything about them, in her heart, when we're tracking the energy, she's like, that feels right. That feels like truth to me,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. Absolutely. I read that resonates. That
Hmm.
resonates for sure. Um,
Yeah.
so where do I want to go? Oh, the
Yes.
Orion Wars. I never heard this term. I mean, I'm familiar with the reptilian Draco influence, and I'm sure it could be a whole show on its own. But just could you just give me an overview of like what happened? Like what happened to us with the whole
Yeah. Yeah.
Orion War thing? Because it's
Yeah.
trauma we're carrying, right? I mean,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Very much so. I actually taught a couple years ago an ancestor class on our Orion ancestry. And it was directly about this exact thing that we all in the collective still carry. Because
Hmm.
if you're on this planet as a human, you have been directly impacted by the Orion experience.
Hmm.
And what's very interesting is now new levels of awareness are coming forward where this story and how it holds on this planet in the 4D collective experience is now shifting, and there are new thought, let's say new spiritual speak coming forward, that it's just a story that we've created and it actually is something even completely different. But I'll go into kind of what we've been holding as a collective,
Okay.
and then we can talk more about the other piece to it.
Yeah.
So I may be not getting all my facts right because I tune into energies. I'm not as much into investigating what's true, what's not. Like I hold the energy of what I see and I track.
Hmm.
So what so there's lots of different kind of stories around it, but these dark energies came forward, reptilian, and some other dark energies came forward, came through Thuban, and came into the Orion, what is that constellation or whatever that I think it's constellation.
I think so, yeah.
And and that's where these were beings that held a power over dynamic energy, and they came through to our, let's say, solar system to really start to and onto our planet to really start to take to express those power over dynamics. So it came through Orion, the Orion piece. The Orion Wars were wars that, well, so the Lyran Wars came first, and then it was the Lyran, then Orion Wars. These were wars around, if we think about the best example in the visual that we can understand is Star Wars. So if we think about Star Wars and we think about the Empire versus the Jedis are bringing forward like heart-based truth, right? You come and you source your inner authority from within, and that's how you get your lightsaber, and you fight for the good, right? It is the black, white, right, wrong, good, evil energy. It's that polarity energy, it's the separation energy. And that's what the Orion Wars were about. It was also about technology. It was about sourcing from outside of yourself than from within. One of the things we are being called to do is come into right relationship with technology within our inner sovereignty, connecting with technology in a way that's empowering rather than giving our power away. So that energy is coming online. This is the Orion Wars all over again, but we are now being called to come into alignment. So the Orion Wars, think about it as dark forces versus light forces trying to kind of compete for the power over dynamic, wanting to colonize and control versus the Jedis that were trying to fight that. Okay, just in terms of that kind of energy. So you had all different light beings and different beings that were trying to stop this, but they were able to win. So the power over dynamics came in, and we see it in humanity, right? And we're breaking it down today. So this is why ancestry wise, we all have something connected to this from our human levels. We all have something connected to this. So it absolutely is a part of our lineage for sure. So we think about how we are so enormously influenced by polarity, how we're so enormously influenced by right, wrong, good, bad, power over dynamics.
Yeah.
We're here to create our liberation, to come back to who we truly are. That's inner sovereignty, right?
Yeah.
We're battling that on so many levels within our own selves.
Yes. Yeah. And that's one thing. Well, let's just get right into it. You said that the ancestors are coming forward big time right now.
Yes.
So why are they coming forward now, Stacy, and what are they saying?
Yeah. So part of so we you know how you hear about Day of the Dead, right? El Dia
Yes.
de los Muertos, you see like October, like the really like they say that's when the veils of the are lifted even more. So the ancestors come through and you really feel them. That's what we're feeling on a daily basis. That's what we're feeling now. It's the way it is now, right?
Yeah. Like more
So,
so than in the past, correct? Even though
correct.
time doesn't exist, but you know what I mean? Yeah. Okay.
Yes, more so than in the past, in
Okay.
terms of like how we're living life right now. So, what this means is when I started, and I'll talk about this in layers. When I first started noticing this, I started noticing this on the human level. Grandparents showing up more, that sort of thing. Like beyond the parent experience, our parents, like that's normally what we're trying to heal from, right? Is our childhoods or whatever, however we were parented. So grandparents were starting to come forward, then great grandparents, and then great great grandparents. And they were trying to bring forward, and they have been, not trying, they have been bringing forward, helping us to see how we're living our lives out of alignment. So they were bringing forward like, hey, understand your relationship to this 3D linear world and what isn't in your truth anymore. So that's where kind of it started with them coming forward to really help us to start waking up to those new levels of who we are and waking up within this experience, this more physicality experience. Then I started noticing the elemental realm coming in and them showing us how they are our people too. They are a part of who we are. They are part of our lineages. And that deeper level of connection to the natural world coming more online. That meaning that's the medicine, right? So they brought forward like, just get outside and ground, and then you'll stop being anxious, right? Your nervous system will calm down, and then you're good. So like levels, like those kind of levels, how to work with the natural realm within our experience now. So those levels. So I've been seeing a lot of more people waking up to using the outside, the natural world as a way of healing. So that level started coming on lately. And we can talk about other beings. Like a lot of people are starting to see things more, whether they're seeing elemental beings or they're seeing like more cosmic or galactic level beings or balls of light or things like that. People are waking up to the unseen. Psychic abilities are increasing dramatically right now with these solar flare energies, with the new paradigm energy, with the fire horse energy, all the planetary alignments. Some people call it the new earth, we call it the new paradigm. As you're coming into this new paradigm, all these layers of this human 3D structure that we thought we had to live within in science and all these things, we don't have to prove anything. The unseen is a part of our truth as well.
Yeah.
We all know that. We know that because this is the work we do. And this is you hold this platform for that to come forward, right? So the unseen is that awakening of having them come back into our inner sovereignty, our inner authority is knowing our truth. And that part of that is the relationship with the unseen.
Mhm.
And knowing this is my truth, it does, and I don't have to explain it.
Yeah.
I don't have to prove this with science. I don't have to prove this with a book knowledge of something. I don't need to have to prove this. This is my truth. So that level has been coming on. And lately, this level of the ancient ancestors coming forward has been really powerful. And this has been more in the last like couple months where the ancient knowledge is coming back online. So these are our people. So we could say the human levels of ancient are ancient human levels, as well as I would say ancient cosmic levels, ancient beings that have really helped to create and hold the space of this planet and humanity on this planet. Their ancient knowledges are coming back online, and we're starting to understand ourselves in a bigger capacity. So these ancient, let's say ancient teachings or these ancient ways are helping us to step into navigating the new paradigm, which are things like understanding your natural rhythms. So we can call it circadian rhythms, right? And that's a part of like this, finding your place in the natural connection of things. But these natural rhythms go beyond just like, don't set an alarm clock, rise with the sun, go to bed with the whatever. Like those natural rhythms are significant, so important for our body, so important for what finding our rhythms. And that means, again, the ways of living, eating, and all of that, that's aligned and right for us. But this also means the ways we express who we are and how we express our gifts through the world, how we're living and being in the world. So those levels are really activating right now. And these ancient ways are within that. So they're teaching us, especially natural rhythms pieces and new pathways of direction, our expression. So I said this in when I think I told you this when we were chatting the other day, when I taught the ancient ancestor class the 2 weekends ago, I believe it was. What we found, what they brought forward for us is like even the path we were creating for ourselves in 2021, 2022. They're saying you thought you were going in this direction, you're now being called in a whole different direction. Like the things, what I'm noticing is that people are getting blindsided, that sudden change is happening. And it's because that natural expression is really coming online. And it means like you thought you wanted the white picket fence with the house and the 4 kids and the whatever. But you got a whole different way of going where you're supposed to be up on the mountain doing something by yourself or whatever. Like those kind of energies are the ones that are coming online for sure. And this is the ancient ones really holding space for us to be in that full expression. Sorry, I went on a long time.
No, I love it. Thank you so much. That was awesome. I appreciate that. Wow, that was a lot to unpack.
Yes.
So we're not going back.
That's
So
okay. If
people,
we do, we
no,
do.
no, I mean like we're not going
Oh,
back in general.
we're
Like
not.
we're
No.
we're going to a whole new paradigm. It's happening.
Yes.
It's already been happening.
Yes. You can
And
go
so,
kicking and screaming, or you can go gracefully. And I
yeah,
think we're all doing a little of both.
yeah. And
Yeah.
would you say like the blindsiding, right? That new path that people are being put on is going to resonate. Like you're going to be, it might be, I mean, I
If you're
guess maybe
listening,
rough in some ways, but
yes.
ultimately it's going to resonate with your spirit and your soul.
If you're
Yeah,
open to it and if you're
if you're open to
listening.
it. Okay.
Because some people, what's happening is when they're not listening, really discomfort happens. I mean,
Yeah.
discomfort happens no matter what, right? This is not easy stuff. But
Hmm.
I'm noticing some people, the resistance is so strong that life is becoming unbearable, or
Yeah.
that they're pushing, 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 and they, but the ones that are just like the ones that were on our path, we're saying yes no matter what. We're in contemplation. We're in silence at times. We're in the flow. We're following. We're listening. We're acknowledging our reactions. We're acknowledging our resistances. We're seeing the path. Some are getting like slapped in the face. Some are getting a piano dumped on top of their heads because it's like, wake up, wake up. But we all have different levels of this. Some have to have the crash and burn to wake up. Some, it's like they get it and they make the subtle next step and it's all graceful. So, yes, it depends on. I mean, I am seeing people make that choice of not looking,
Wow.
of not wanting to take the steps.
Okay. So what's going to happen to them? Are they going to go on a different timeline? I've heard some people talk about a split happening, or is this?
Yeah, that's interesting because that split energy, I know that was in the conversation a few years ago, and that that narrative seems to be shifting.
Okay.
Now, who knows? Who
Okay.
knows?
Yeah.
I think it's too early in the energy to see what's going to happen to those. What I have been hearing a lot more very recently is everyone's coming along no matter what, but how they're coming along could be that they just don't have the human experience anymore. They could, or this lifetime experience anymore, that they may choose to leave. It sounds like a lot of people are going to be choosing to leave soon. Their
Yeah.
particular bodies now. But I don't know it. I don't know when I tune into this timeline split thing, I used to really be like, yeah, I could see it. I could see it. But I
Hmm.
think we must have jumped into another timeline or something because it
Yeah.
feels different now. It feels like some of us are just going to be being in a just a whole different level, and some are just going to continue to play out those levels because every time I go into the energy work of it and I'm working through resistances with folks, I am seeing beings that want to hold on. And I'm asking them, okay, well, what's going to happen? And what I keep on seeing is they're just going to keep on playing it out while most others are going to be like, see ya, we're over here doing our thing. So it could be timeline split, or it could just be we're all cohabitating, but we're just in different, like totally different like levels of awareness. We'll
Yeah.
see. Yeah.
Oh, that's so interesting. And that what you said resonates too. I've been feeling like that things are just changing. It's like we're not in Kansas anymore.
That's it. So
Yeah.
anything like was prophesized like a year ago or whatever, like what I am learning because I'm someone who like I will take it and I'll run with it because I saw the split. Like a year or two ago, I saw that split
Yeah.
and I wanted to stay with that, but then I was like, I kept on getting no, 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 no. But what I am learning is not to be attached to anything, no labels, nothing right now. And I think that's part of the fire horse energy. I think it's like we are just meant to like momentum forward movement, but we're doing it blindly. Like we're jumping off the ledge and we have no structure. We have no foundation. We have no idea what we're doing.
Yeah.
All we know is we have a yes in our heart that we have to do this.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
what a lot of people are waking up to. But a lot of people, they want their ego drivers to define it or create a pretty foundation around it or a pretty structure because that's what we've always had as humans. But we're not having that anymore. So we're having to do this with extreme discomfort.
Hmm. Yeah. Plunging into the abyss, so to speak. And it also reminds me of
Totally.
the Hopi prophecies where they talk about, you're moving down a river and it's funny, we talked about a river on the
That's right.
phone. And those that clung to the shore were not going to do well, right? You can't cling to the shore. You just have to let go and go with the flow.
That's it.
So yeah. Um,
That's it.
and the ancestors are reaching out a helping hand. They're going to help
They
us through
are
this.
so much. And so what my advice is when you can be in those open spaces for yourself, the shower, a walk, meditation, a somatic practice where you're really just in a flow state or you're in a state of not like doing, but you're kind of more in a being
Yeah.
state. This is when they come through, or this is when the messages, or the knowing, or the seeing, the visuals, the smells, the hearing, the whatever comes online for you, your data, your intuitive language, your how it comes in for you. That's when these things are happening. They're not happening when we think or do. It's happening when we're being.
Yeah. Yeah, I've definitely experienced that too. When I have my experiences, I'm not really thinking about anything in particular. So, yeah.
So
And it's
true.
funny what you said about like in the shower. I feel like water, especially, is a conduit. Like a lot of people get insights and downloads in the shower or the bathtub or, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you a story about the ancient knowledge stuff that's coming
Yeah.
online that happened not too long ago. So I live in the city and right I live I have my house and right behind my house is a retirement home.
Hmm.
Right? So I have like all these elderly neighbors that they can see my through my window. Right behind the retirement home is a major road in the city, and right on the other side of the road is a big apartment complex that was under development. Huge. This took like probably 1 to 2 blocks of, and it's just, I mean, it's a big, we have a big block, but if you would call it like a New York City block, it'd probably be a block, right?
Hmm.
So it's this big apartment complex that was under development. One night on my way home from yoga, I saw a fire. The whole apartment complex was on fire. There was explosions, and the winds were blowing north, but there was like boom, boom, explosions. There were huge embers shooting off like fireballs going all over the place. Okay, so I come home and I'm in this state of panic because the fire energy got so big and it was roaring and the embers were hitting our house and all our neighbors' houses. So it was like, first thing I did, I got home, checked where the dog was, checked my husband. I was with my daughter. My other daughter doesn't live with us. So, like, all of that. But then I ran to a neighbor's house who was a widow and I made sure she was okay. So all of this is happening and all the neighbors start coming out and we're trying to figure out what's going on. That fire energy started roaring within me and I was just like out of alignment. I was just freaked out and I was in this fire energy. So as we're trying to figure out what to do, everyone starts hosing down their houses. We're afraid the fire is going to hit us because the fire was definitely the big fireballs were hitting us. But what happened was all of a sudden, and this is happening in front of people, but they're not seeing and noticing what's happening. All of a sudden, the download came in. The ancient ancestors came in and said, "Here is the ancient way." And they said, you have to neutralize the fire energy within because you're so whacked right now. You're tweaked and you're tweaked in a roaring fire energy. So they started saying, tap into water. And I say they because we do this together, right? They helped me bring in the water energy. So I consciously had to bring in a water element frequency within, and that started to subdue the fire energy. Then on top of that, they said earth. And then that came on top of the water. And that really started anchoring me down so I could get back and grounded within and grounded within Pachamama. And that was an ancient teaching that came forward. And it's a remembering of, my gosh, our relationship to the elements. As you said before, the water, right? Being in the water and I mean, our connection has been lost in how much even drinking our water is trying to communicate and connect with us. That these winds
Yeah.
outside that are happening right now, they're here for a reason. And instead I mean, I was walking and I was like, I'm bothered by the wind. It's stirring up my allergies.
Yeah.
Instead of connecting with what messages are you bringing forward?
Yeah.
So that's what an example of the ancient teachings. And that helped me get through that week because that was a scary, scary, scary time.
Yeah, it sounds
So,
like it.
yeah.
Yeah. I've heard you say that sometimes, like, you get a whisper in the wind of the ancestors' voices.
Hmm.
I'm just curious, like, when you get your downloads or when they communicate with you,
Hmm. Yeah.
what's that like? Like, let us live vicariously a little bit. Like, what is
Yeah.
it? Yeah, like,
Well, I'll give you a personal experience, and then I'm wondering if we could, with you, see if there's any ancestor stuff coming forward.
yeah, you say you would
Think
give
that
me
would
a
be great.
reading. That would be cool. Yeah. So
Yeah.
people will see what a reading is like with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
it's not too long ago there well this was an interesting one. So I usually tell a story about my grandmother's, but this is a different one I'll share. I was in the shower and all of a sudden my grandmother came forward and she started telling me about my uncle who's alive. So one of my uncles, I have a lot of family, but one of my uncles that was alive, she was giving me information. She was just telling me, and this time she had come in. I see her often. I see her in particular. This one particular grandmother, I see like more of a what's the word? A holograph, like a holographic kind of like I can see some form and I know it's her.
Hmm.
And I don't as much hear, but like I know she's communicating. So it feels like hearing, but it's just a communication
Okay. Do you
in. So it's
physically
an
see
inner
her or is
knowing.
it like in your
I s-
mind?
so a lot of times it's mind's eye,
Okay.
but sometimes I see holographic.
Okay.
So I see some form, knowing it's her, but the knowing of her is more of a knowing inside versus actually seeing her form. It's more of a holographic, like I know there's a being next to me, but then I connect in, well, what is this? It's a yes, it's my grandma. Okay,
Gotcha.
so more
Okay.
mind's eye. Okay, more mind's eye. But
Yeah.
there's also some holographic form. So she came in actually more in form at this time when I was in the shower, and she was telling me a couple things about my uncle. And she was like, "You have to communicate this to your family, to his family, so the daughters, and here's what's happening." And I'm like, oh no, I don't want to tell my family that because then like no one I didn't flaunt this sensitivity. They all thought I was sensitive and emotional, right? But the whole like let's say psychic side or whatever, I I didn't really share it publicly for a very long time. And some family knows and some family doesn't. And I don't even really talk to about my family too much about this because that's a limiting belief I need to work through around acceptance, right? Like they may think I'm way out there, but who cares anymore, right? I can't care.
Yeah.
But so it's like, okay. So I wound up calling one of my cousins, one of the daughters, and explaining, hey, here's the messaging that's coming forward. And she took it. She started crying a little bit. She took it. And then something happened. And she then called me back and said, you don't understand what this did. Like this brought in a deeper level of awareness for her of how much he was suffering and certain things that had to be said in order for him to help support his process because he's going through a health thing. So, and how it impacted the family dynamic and it gave her a better understanding of something within herself of the role she plays. So
Wow.
it was like a really big awakening, but all I knew was, oh, I have to tell them this, but I didn't understand it. I just had to say it. So
Yeah.
that was something that had a bigger impact on them. So it was my grandmother was like, "Hey, you need to do this." Now she doesn't often do this. She'll do this for me if I'm working through something, she'll come in or and once when I was dropping off my husband at the airport at 4 a.m. in the morning,
Oh,
when I was like really, really, really emotional because we were going through a really tough thing at the time. I dropped him off and I was like bawling my eyes out as I left the airport. And she came in, sat next to me in the car. More, I could see her. And then in the back was my other grandmother and then their mothers.
oh, how magnificent. Oh my
And,
gosh.
yeah. And at that moment, what she was like, she was saying, we've all been through this. And look at our strength. Look what
Yeah.
we've accomplished. Look what we have done. And we got your back always. And we know you can do this. And right now, this is what's going to nurture you. This is what's going to help you. But get out of your head in this way and stop doing it this way. Like you really gotta harness our resilience right now. And that was really beautiful. That was just a really beautiful experience. And again, I was just driving at 4 a.m. in the morning and I forgot my phone, so I couldn't listen to a podcast. So I
Yeah.
was just kind of sitting there and they came forward while driving, you know.
Yeah. Wow.
So those kind of experiences, you
Yeah.
know.
To me, this indicates like two huge things. One, the importance of sharing our gifts, no matter how
Mm.
scared we might be or how crazy it might seem to us, or like it doesn't make any sense to us, but it makes the
Yeah.
world of difference to others, and you just shine and let other people find you that way. And that's why it's so important that we cultivate our gifts and share them. One,
Yeah.
and then two, just how beautiful that your grandmother and grandmothers were there for you. And I really do feel like, I mean, isn't this true that this is just supposed to be the norm? We're supposed to be communicating with them. We're never alone. We just need
Yes.
to tap into, I suppose, the bridge or just get back in touch
Yeah.
with those abilities to connect with them because they're always there for us. It's just we've gone deaf to them.
That's it.
Yeah, because the Native
That's it.
Americans talk about how they used to communicate with the ancestors.
Oh my gosh,
Um,
like
that was
every
a huge
indigenous
thing.
culture, I would say
Yeah.
probably every indigenous culture in this world, that is like that is a key foundation.
Yeah. And that's what we're supposed to be doing, and we're getting back to that.
Yes, for
And they are
sure.
there for us.
For sure.
Yeah.
And really transitioning to you, there's a
Hmm.
piece that's really strong. So, but okay, I'm going to take a pause for a minute and explain more about what the ancient ancestors are bringing forward.
Okay.
They are helping us to remember. They're helping us to come into alignment of our truth. They're helping us to really shed those identity pieces that are not that who we think we are, those levels that we are not, you know? And so part of this is, yes, we're trying to get out of living in the past, but there are pieces of our past that we know or don't know that we still need some light shined on it, some awareness in
Hmm.
order for us to wake up and come
Yeah.
into our to those higher levels of awareness for ourselves. So that piece is really coming forward. And I also wrote some other lists. Oh yeah, one more thing I wanted to bring forward before we go into it, because this is going to help support what we're going through with you,
Yeah.
is, and I'm like looking at my notes, is discernment. What's ours, what's not ours?
Yeah.
What's in our truth, what's not in our truth?
Hmm.
Discernment is like the way right now to really help us to come into that. That's that inner authority piece,
Yeah.
right? So as I go into this, this is really interesting what's coming forward for you. There are some biological parent stuff that's trying to come forward
Hmm.
in an interesting way. Right now, it's in a way of reclaiming some of the ancestral gifts that have been shut down. So you didn't get to be exposed to them to see kind of family dynamics, but they still carry ancestral gifts. So one of the things that I've discovered in this work is that we have our own personal soul gifts, right? Like what our strengths are, what we are here to express. Some of
Yeah.
us are space holders, some of us are leaders, some of us are whatever they are, whatever our natural abilities are. Some just like can communicate with plants, some can, have like the prediction of the future, whatever it is. So those soul gifts are one thing that are personal. There are also gifts of the lineage. So remember you talked about that like collective group piece, the lineage piece. And I've watched this, I tracked this through many people's lineages that some of these as as the lineage created, if we think about like the creation levels. Let's just think about creation levels and how we all come from this like level of creation and we all play our part. We all have our piece to contribute to the bigger whole. Lineages, when they were created, they have that same piece. And the gifts get passed down from generation to generation to generation. You
Okay.
do have a pilgrimage coming. And that is a pilgrimage to Sicily. There's something about
Yeah.
that land that's really, really, really important for you to connect with. It's like being held in your lower back right now, kidney area, lower back, that you may be getting a loop of a calling to go,
Yeah.
but it's really about the land. There's something like I want to cry. Like there's a piece missing within you because that there's like a energetic awakening or connection that like as soon as you really start to connect with that land and walk around, it's like there's certain levels of like energies that are just going to come right through your lower half of the body, through your perineum up, and they're just going to come
Wow.
in. So there's
Awesome.
levels of connection of the land that is telling you to come forward. Okay. There's something in that ancestry. There's something about that land that's coming forward. So
That
that's
resonates. Yeah.
yeah. So that's one piece that they're starting to make very clear.
Okay.
So there is a connection, there is a story, and I hope you're okay with me sharing. We'll see what the story is and
Yeah.
what comes forward with the people. And this is your biological father's side story,
Okay,
okay?
so this is my biological father.
Hmm.
Okay, I don't know much about him. I know my mother's lineage was Sicilian. I don't know
Okay.
much about him. They broke up when she was pregnant, so,
Okay.
and he took off. So, yeah, but this, go
Oh,
ahead, please.
okay. So whatever the Sicilian piece was, that is that gift, getting there. And it feels like that's an elemental connection. So whatever the
Okay.
Sicilian thing is, it's there's an awakening that's happening. So if you ever listen to Zach Bush, oh, so phenomenal.
Okay.
Zach Bush is a doctor. He called himself an evolutionary biologist and a doctor who really kind of like stopped doing the doctor thing. He owned the company that had the Ion brand that a lot of people know of that helps with digestion and all this stuff. He is a really big public speaker now. You can see him on Instagram. He is so powerful. And if you've never heard him, I will send you some of his stuff later.
Yes.
But I'll write that down. So he talks about his belief is that the original wound of humans, of humanity, is our disconnection from nature, our disconnection from Pachamama. Like everything else, we can clear and heal. This is the piece that keeps us in separation. So I resonate with that being a part of it for sure. I
Yes.
totally resonate. This is your part of this. Okay. This is your part. There's something in the land that you are connecting back with that is just going to bring something, and you don't have to understand it and know it, but it's going to make sense for you.
Okay,
Okay.
should I
That's a
walk
sign.
around barefoot when I go or sit and
If you
meditate or does it?
can,
Okay.
you are going to be called to what your heart tells you to do. It
Yeah.
feels like you'll probably be in some water. It feels like you're going to be doing some things. I
Yeah.
definitely see you walking around on the land barefoot. Oh gosh, I mean that just accelerates everything.
Yeah.
I see
Okay.
water and I see you walking on the land. You don't know even know where who knows where it is. It may not be the town that the people are from. Like you just there's something about that island, there's something about that there's a big yes.
Yeah. I'm feeling called to
And
go there, so that fits big
and
time.
so the water doesn't feel like seawater though. It feels like inland, this feels like more inland, not the beach. It
Okay.
doesn't feel like the beach. It feels like more inland. So farm area, whatever, it doesn't, I mean, I don't know what it's going to be, but
Cool.
it's something like that. Now,
Cool.
dad, I don't know if this is Sicilian or not, just dad's lineage is coming forward. Okay. So there's a gift piece that's trying to be reawakened and remembered within you. So I'm tapping into what that is, but there's a couple barriers in the way. So we're going, and when I go into the barrier, it's like a heart block. So I'm just like, is this yours? And it's not yours. So when you feel, and this is the discernment piece. So I am discerning when I see there's a block in your heart, like front part of the heart, too, top front part of the heart. When I go into that, you may see or feel it's yours, but as I discern the energy and feel into it, it's not yours. Okay. So then I'm like, okay, whose is this? And biological dad comes forward. So biological dad's coming forward, and I'm like, is this blocked energy? Is it just his? And that it got passed down to you, and it's not just his. So then I go into, okay, is this mother's, father's? Is this lineage stuff? Is this past life stuff? Is this dark force stuff? What is this? And the first thing that comes forward is his father. So I go into his father. So as I'm tracking into his father, I'm like, okay, does the energy stop there? What is this? Where is this going? So a couple more generations back, we're talking, okay, I'm going to list it out, and it doesn't necessarily matter the specifics, but I'm going to list it out. So you got father, grandfather, great grandfather, great great grandfather, great 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 grandfather, great 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 grandfather. So four. And then we're getting to five. Okay, so it goes way back. This is an energy that goes way back. So I'm just holding it and I'm asking for it to present of what is this and how is this related to the block in your front heart? And this is around self-belief. There's a big piece here around self-belief. When I go into your father, he feels like he's in pieces. So this is your biological father. He literally feels like he's in pieces. And it feels like he has tried to do the best he could, but has never been able to figure it out. So he feels shattered, but shattered not in a way where a lot of us are going through shatterings right now because we're dismantling like our identity, our ego death, like all of that. This is not that shattering. This is like pure wounding shattering. And a lot of this has to do with his self-belief. Okay. And so I'm starting there and I'm tapping into that. So you then got inherited through his DNA, through his lineage. There's a piece that you are trying to break through right now because you know logically, you know behind that heart block that you are an incredible being that has an immense important contribution to this world. And but there is this piece that keeps you locked down in it not being in possibility. Okay. So there's a piece here that holds you into a story that blocks you from saying, oh, I really could do this, but I don't have the money. I don't have this. You feel the separation, you feel the blocks versus like seeing the vision and all those things don't even matter. It's the vision, it's the holding space. So you're in a stuck energy that you're trying to get out of to get you to this next level of vision that you really want to hold, but you're not even allowing yourself to hold the vision because you don't feel like it's possible because of all of these little steps in the way, which are the shattering that you're feeling from your father, you are feeling.
Yeah.
Okay. And it's
Yeah.
blocking your heart.
Yeah.
I'm going deep here. I'm hoping this is
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, no, that's great. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, I feel that for sure that you say that. So that's something I can heal within myself and then it will heal my father and the what you said, fit 5 generations back, correct?
Yes. Yes. So we're going to keep on stepping. We're going to step
Okay.
through this. We're going to keep on
Okay.
going.
Okay.
We're clearing this. Like we're not just we're not just bringing this forward. This
Oh,
has to get clear. So
thank you.
I can never just walk away. So if I'm late to my client, I'm late to my client. Like
Oh
this is
no.
like it has to be. So we got the shattering energy now, and that makes sense. And this block makes sense, and where it goes to you, and how you inherit it from dad, and this shattering energy.
Yeah.
And for him, this idea of what is possible doesn't exist because he lives in a shattering energy. Okay.
Okay.
So he feels like he's alive. I'm not sure, but it feels like it. So
Okay.
the shattering energy here. So what I'm going to is this something he inherited, or is this from his own lifetime? And as I said, we got to grandfather and going back. So this part of the self-belief part, he inherited, and then he adopted experiences that helped shatter him. So part of it was he because he didn't believe in himself because he had this piece that got passed down, he then had experiences that he sourced that created this beat down, just this beat down after beat down after beat down, and just like lost all faith. Lost all faith in himself and lost all faith in life and lost all, so he's just shattered. We're going to collect those pieces. If there's a yes, we're going to collect those pieces and bring them back into him. Okay, so I always tune in to see if we have permission and, and there's a yes to do that. So then that self-belief piece, grandpa. So grandpa's energy within this, his energy shows up differently. So your dad's energy, he lived a life where he just attracted, crappy stuff that happened to him. That was his way of doing it. Grandpa, he attracted it or he expressed this lack of self-belief energy through stoicism, through like be strong, just, keep your, like just what's that? Being reserved. being withdrawn, that kind of energy. So then, but it feels like your biological dad may have been someone like a Cancer or something, like super sensitive, super emotional, like that kind, but you don't, as a guy and this kind of
Yeah.
energy, what that's what it feels like a little bit.
Hmm.
So then your grandpa, then your great grandpa, same thing. So this is the pattern. Okay. So now I'm back all the way to the original ancestor where this behavior started to get passed down. So as I'm going into it, so okay, and this is going to be like TMI, but I'm going to say it anyways. Your father was even carrying this energy when he tried to conceive you. And, I thought that was intentional for him, but that was you know what I mean? So that was a part of his thoughts. That was a part of like the energy he was holding. And then, like bada bing, bada boom, you come in.
Yep.
So that's wow. Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
So, okay. First
Yep.
thing we need to do is I got this exposed throughout the whole lineage now and where it goes back to the original ancestor. Now, as I'm saying this, I'm expressing this in linear time. I'm expressing this chronologically. We also have to, I'm doing this because it makes it simpler to explain. But everything, everywhere, all at once, energy, right? This is all simultaneously happening. This happened in the past and it's happening in the future and it's happening all over, right? So that's the harder part for the mind to wrap. That's why, especially when we're doing this right now, I'm trying to say it chronologically to make sense. But these energies, like your fifth great grandpa five, right, is also a part of you right now and in your future and in your past and all of that. So like he's here right now, but then and so we're experiencing and witnessing this energy that he brought in and created now as well as back then. So that's why I'm bringing that forward in the multidimensional experience because when I start talking there's overlay after overlay and things can get really unclear and the human mind is like, "Oh my gosh, wait." So if we go back to the chronological order, it makes it simple.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Good. Okay. So I'm literally like with them all at once now, rather than like the old time of it. Okay.
Okay.
So great. So now I'm communicating with that Grandpa Five, great Grandpa Five, and I'm asking him if he understands what's happening. That the word has been spoken. It's time for liberation. You do not have to hold this anymore. Like, and look around you. Look around you. Are you still living in that let's say frequency? And he's looking around and he's waking up and he sees light and he's like, wow, I don't need to do this anymore. I don't need to hold this anymore. That's the levels that souls are waking up to right now. They just like, it's kind of like they've been actors in a play and they're still trying to play out the past and they think they're still in it. But as soon as you shine light on it and you bring awareness, they can a lot often they'll just start looking around and they're like, oh, wow, I can go and I can be a liberated soul and I can go on to whatever my next thing is. So there's a yes to clear this. And I also remind them and show them, hey, look how it's impacting your people. Just look around you. See how it's impacting your people. Look at your great granddaughter here. Look at your, the future grandkids. Look at the past. Look at all that. And then they really start to wake up. So he's starting to wake up. And I'm asking, are you ready to pull this out of every member of the family that this has been impacted by? Like anyone that's carrying this energy in your lineage, are you ready? And he said yes. So what he is doing is pulling the energy back. And what I'm looking for and waiting for is a yes in your heart and everyone else's for this to be removed, to be liberated, to be released from you. So do you feel a yes in your heart?
Yes. I
I
do.
can feel it.
Yeah.
I can feel it. It's a knowing, it's a feeling, it's not up here in the head. It's
Yeah.
it's in the heart. It's like some people hear a song, some people feel their heart opening, some feel an expansion, some feel a lifting up. It's
Yeah.
it's a different kind of feeling than just a yes in your head.
Yeah. I feel an expansion, like a light expansion. Yeah.
That's it.
Yep.
Yes. That's what I
Yes.
get a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's an unwinding energy. And so what's happening is not only is he pulling out his energy that you adopted, that you inherited, and he's pulling it out, But then I'm watching the unwinding of the patterns and behaviors you created around this.
Yeah.
So that's what's starting to unwind. And this is what the structures, the dismantling of structures look like. Because you created, this was a belief you had, or, a behavior. Then you built all these structures and ways of being around it to maintain it, including energetic blocks.
Yeah.
And so all of that is getting unwound so it can be released. So your spirit team, in Light Body, we call it the entourage. I like to call it the spirit team because I feel like I have a team, right?
Yeah, I love that.
So your spirit team is all around you right now. And think of them as like a cleanup crew. You got someone with a vacuum with a duster, and they're just like sucking out and pulling out and helping to dismantle anything and clean up anything that needs to get cleaned up. So that's all happening right now. There's one more thing we have to do. The other big piece that we got to do is your father, and I'm asking his higher levels if I'm allowed to, if I can connect with the scattered pieces. And now that things are clear with him, he's a little disoriented, confused, looking around. There is a yes to consolidate, bring those pieces back together. So there's a yes. And the powerful thing is, part of this yes is he's being seen. He's being seen by his daughter. He's being seen by his father. He's being seen by his people right now. And how he's being seen is in love, not in his failures, not in his self loathing, not in his judgment, just in his love for him being alive, for him being him, for being this beautiful soul that he is, despite the decisions he made, despite the way he acted, just for the beautiful soul he is. There we go. So all those pieces are coming back in. And so now his team, it's like a rose quartz energy coming. Actually, I'm seeing it as a dragon, like a rose quartz dragon just blowing these rose quartz flames in him to help integrate all the pieces back in.
Wow. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So then within you, you can settle because there was a part of you that could never settle because of this lingering scatteredness, this
Yeah.
lingering shattered. It's not even scattered is one thing, shatter is a whole different thing.
Yeah.
This being because like totally breaking, falling apart, but not in an ego death way to bring in the new. This is more of like completely defeated energy.
Wow.
So, and you were holding that in ways. So
Yeah.
now you're reclaiming your energies. So any energies that he was holding onto of yours, because he did take a piece of you
Mm-hmm.
when they gave you up, they each did. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
asking both parents to give your energy back. And I'm telling them that no matter what, they can have memories, they can hold the love for you, and that never goes away. But you cannot keep other people's energies. No one can. We can't as parents. I'm working that through that all the time.
Yeah.
On all levels, we can't. We have to be in our inner sovereignty always. So even if we're having an energetic exchange with someone, sex, anything, we got to give our energies back
Yeah.
because we've got to source from our sovereignty always, not from other people's energies. So right now, mom and dad, good. And you are actually saying yes to this. You are saying yes to this, that you want your energy back and you have tiny pieces of them that you're holding on to. So tiny pieces of their energy because they put some of theirs in you too. And
Okay.
this was a comfort. This is an energetic comfort level for all three of you. So now each of you get to reclaim your energies. So I'm just imagining, and you can do this at any time. I do this every
Okay.
day when I go to bed. I reclaim my energies, or I do it in the morning. I reclaim my, I call myself back from dream time. And then I call myself back from my day because my energies may be lingering out there when I went to the grocery store or in the car. I call myself back. This is the
Okay.
same thing. You can use your name to call your energy back. You can imagine your mom and dad, your biological mom and dad, holding your energies, and you can imagine calling them back. You can use your name to call your energy back, your awareness to call it back. Now you are imagining those pieces of them and you're giving them back to them. Wow.
Thank
There's
you
a
so much.
whole shielding that got released out of you.
Thank
You
you. I
have a
feel it.
whole,
Yeah.
wow. And they get to forgive themselves. You get to forgive them. You know, if
Yeah.
there's any ounce within you that now you can see them as the wounded people they were when they had to make the choice they made, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you get to
Yeah.
see the beauty of your parents, your adopted parents, and the love that they were able to give you. You
Mm-hmm.
know, I mean, the dynamics are so different right now than when they
Yeah.
started. And the
Yeah.
love you have for your biological parents, I feel it, I see it.
Yeah.
There's an appreciation for what they did for you. There's something in that. They were the ones that were meant to create you, but not the
Mm-hmm.
ones that were meant to raise you. And there's something beautiful in this dynamic now.
Yes. Wow. Wow.
Wow.
Stacy, thank you so much. That was amazing. And it's funny because I always would focus on my biological mother. I never really thought about my father. And isn't it so funny that that was the key was
That was the key.
so, yeah,
That was the key.
wild.
So now you
Wow.
got this trip to Italy you're planning or
Yes.
figuring out. Maybe it's
Yes.
2027, maybe it's, later this year, but it's coming.
Yep.
And it doesn't have to, there's no urgency here. This is going to all fall into place when it falls into place.
Okay.
It's just going to, you're going to be in the flow of it. You're on that river,
Yep.
that flow is going to happen. And it's just going to really fall into place in the right way. Because now there's this like, yes, to know yourself in this new way, which is an old
Yeah.
way and a new way.
Yeah. So am I going to start experiencing, I think you said there's gifts that I inherited. So
Oh,
am I going to
yes.
start
Yes.
experiencing new things now and I should be prepared for that and not freaked out?
Yes. So it could be actually something that you've already known about yourself, but you have avoided expressing. Or it could be like a whole new understanding that you didn't know about yourself that comes online. So
Yeah.
when I go back into these, especially this is the masculine side. So this is dad, and then the same lineage we were just tracking, that piece. Wow. This is why, okay, now I get it. This is why your father had to shatter and fall apart like this because the gift in this lineage and there's always usually more than one, but I'm going to say this one in particular is the power of discernment, is
Okay.
the power of discernment. Like those people passed down from generation to generation how to connect with aligned discernment. That's a superpower. Most people don't have discernment. This discernment is a very, because you have to have a very strong inner authority to really discern your truth.
Mm-hmm.
But that is actually a part of your superpower. That is a part of
Okay.
this lineage gift that now is activating because it had to hide, it had to go dormant because of whatever the societal stuff was going on, whatever was not safe, whatever was dangerous, they had to hide.
Yep.
So it could not be expressed in the way. And this discernment is actually very, I'm going to call it very spiritual. It's very intuitive. Let's use the word intuitive. It's a very intuitive discernment. It's not like um, intelligent or mental discernment where like I know what, to discern in terms of like whatever math or something along those lines or intellectual. It's not intellectual discernment, it's intuitive discernment.
Okay. Yep.
Okay. And for
Yes.
you in particular, how it's going to be expressed is right now your vessel is it's your biosuit. It's your body. That's your best let's say playing field right now. Your body, you and your body are meant to be in this relationship of discernment. Like that's you are very lucky that you have this gift of being able to discern what your body's communicating to you. This is where you're going to be playing a lot this year, is
Okay.
in discernment of what your body's telling you.
Okay. Awesome. Awesome. Stacy, thank you so much. This was
Mhm.
amazing. And I gotta say, this resonates. I've had psychic readings and not that you need the reinforcement, but just for the audience, I've had a psychic tell me I got my gifts from my father's side, and that I was going to be learning something about my father, and that in my past lives I was never able to be myself, and that may be connected to that
Mhm.
as well. It's
Yes,
just it resonates with everything you said. So just for the audience, I mean, yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, you're the real deal.
absolutely.
You're awesome.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, this
Yeah.
is amazing
Yeah.
liberation for you.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Wow.
Thank you. I so appreciate that. And yeah, this is what a reading's like with you. So I'm glad
Yeah.
we did this. So everybody,
Yeah.
rather than asking what a reading's like, I appreciate you
Absolutely.
showing people and I appreciate what you did for me and my lineage today. Thank you so much for
Yeah.
healing us.
Absolutely. And
helping
that's a
me grow to my
taste.
highest potential and my
Yes.
father's line. Thank you.
Yes. And how you said like you don't feel like you never fit in. There's also a lot of past life stuff in there. There's some Sasquatch stuff in there that, there's a lot of levels to it, you
Yeah,
know. And this key was a key one that had to get cleaned up so you can access those places.
awesome. So it'll be my communications with the Sasquatch and the elementals will be clearer now.
Yeah.
Awesome. That's
Yeah.
exciting 'cause that's what I've been wanting. So thank you.
Amazing.
Thank you
And
so
I
much.
can't wait one day to talk to you about East Coast Sasquatch because even though I grew up on the East Coast, I was never connected with them until I moved out to the West,
Oh,
more
wow.
West.
Interesting.
So I'd love one day I want to have a
Yes.
conversation with you about your experience with them.
Yes, yes, definitely, absolutely. So we're
Hmm.
getting down to time. I want you to be able to rest and relax before you give another amazing reading and help someone else. And we're winding down.
Hmm.
Um,
Yep.
um, do you have a message before we go for everybody right here, right now? It's the end of February 2026. Is there a message for the world that you're feeling compelled to share, or if it's okay if you don't? I know we shared a lot
Yeah.
today.
No, the reason why I'm breathing is because there's so many things that are coming forward. It's like I'm like trying to figure out where to go. And I was like looking at notes. I'm like, can I just cheat and just go off the notes? But it's not. Like keep on pulling me back away and just be like, give yourself a moment to breathe
Okay.
and just allow it to come forward, how things are coming forward. So it's time to listen, right? And I'm just going to share, I share a lot of stories because they help, right? Personal stories help too. And I shared this one with you. And it's just an example of how much we need to listen right now. I had an elderly dog that I had for the last 6 months he's been communicating with me on what to do, right? And I was not listening. He was suffering. He was suffering. He was ready to go. He was suffering. But for 6 months, I did not listen. And one day I woke up from dream time and the message came in so clear, like, oh God, he's been trying to tell me this for so long. And I didn't listen. And what I had to do is I had to discern why I wasn't listening. And a lot of it was just my emotional attachment. And I had to learn that I cannot put a human experience on this animal, right? And I had to discern like why I wanted to stay attached and I really had to take myself on. And once that download came in and I started communicating with him, he told me exactly what he needed. He said, I need a week with you. I need time with you. And I need this week. And I need you to sleep with me every night. And I want to eat certain foods. Like there were a couple things I know he wanted to eat and he wanted certain walks. And just love me this week. Show me the love that you can show me. And as soon as a family we came into alignment to say like, okay, we're going to put him down. And we planned that in the home and having someone come over. He went from this cranky, angry dog that was just not, he was not himself to looking at me in the eyes. And I felt the thank you. I knew he was saying, thank you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for for listening to what I needed.
Yeah.
And as heartbreaking and as much as I just did not want to listen because that was a major loss for me, I did. I had to listen. So I know this was an extreme example of it, but it's time for us to listen because we are getting the loops, we're getting the niggles, we're getting the nudges, we are getting them right now.
Mhm.
But we're having a hard time listening because there's a lot of pain underneath that. There's a lot of discomfort underneath that. And they may be extreme things that are coming forward, like got to quit your job and move to this and do this. Or it may be something like it's time to apologize to this person. Or it's time to change your finances in this way, or it's time to do this, but it's time to listen. Stop lying to yourself. The illusion, that Neptune energy, whatever that's been, we're coming into alignment with seeing the truth now and it's time to listen and walk through the fire, walk through that discomfort. And I mean, again, I walked through like literally losing, like killing a dog. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, if we
Yeah.
think about it that way, but I had to listen. And as much as I wanted to stay in comfort and see him every day and be happy in my own little world, I had to. I had to get beyond my emotions around it. I had to walk in truth.
Yeah.
So, That's the energy of right now. And that's what my message is really start listening.
Beautiful. Yes. Thank you so much. And you'll be glad you did, right? Because we're all getting to where we need to be. And
Yes,
yeah.
we
Yes.
are. But the discomfort is here.
Mm-hmm.
So just embrace it.
Yeah.
It's just time to embrace it because we're on a ride in 2026 for sure. And it's a
Yeah.
mass transformation year. So those
Yes.
those nudges are just going to continue to get stronger and stronger and stronger. And you don't want to get hit by the bus. You don't want to get hit by you don't want the big, you don't want the big messages. Listen at the little level, you know.
She's still not getting it all right. Just smack her upside the head.
That's
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
That's it.
And we're not alone. This
And we're not
is
alone.
important to remember. You are loved and you are never alone. Yeah.
And connect with the ancestors. And I didn't
Yes.
really say a lot of ways to do this, but like if you want the altar, do the altar. Have your people on an altar, the pictures, the candles, light the candles. Really, the superpower, all we have to do is set the intention and messages come forward. It could be a physical sensation, it could be a visual, it could be a thought, it could be a knowing. We don't know what it's going to look like. We can't plan it, we can't control it.
Hmm.
We just have to be with how it presents. It may be a pain in the hip. Okay, what is this pain in the hip? I'm going to go into the pain in the hip and get more data sets, get more information about what that is. But I connect with the ancestors in a way of a natural conversation. So I just like, well, okay, set the intention. I want to connect with my grandma right now and I see what presents.
Okay.
But I get out of my head, I get in my heart. I'm not looking or expecting anything. And that connection with grandma may not happen right then. It may happen in the shower tomorrow. It
Okay.
may happen in dream time. I set the intention in dream time to connect with the ancestors, and lots of messages come forward through dreams.
Yeah.
And that dream may not, you may feel like, well, what does this actually even mean? It means something. Just start discerning the energy. Don't judge it and analyze it from the head. Go into the heart.
Okay.
Bring it to someone to help you to track the energy of it so you can understand it better.
Yes.
So,
Yes. Awesome. Thank you so much. And
yeah.
do you have anything coming up that you want to make people aware of?
Oh, yes. I totally forgot about this. And I should figure out I should announce the date. So I am teaching an ancestor class very soon. It is on our Hyperborean ancestry. So
Awesome.
they are part of the one of the original seeded races here on this planet, and we are directly connected to the Hyperboreans. And they are a very ancient energy. And so I just taught that ancient human ancestor class. Now we're going into the Hyperborean ancestry, and they're here to, again, awaken more of the ancient knowledge within us. And so that is coming on Sunday, March 15th. And you could go to lightbodyacademy.com to find out more information. But also that free group energy clearing, I do every fourth Sunday of the month, unless I have to change the date. And that is welcome to anyone. And it's on Zoom. And it's usually about an hour and 15 minutes. And there's always amazing stuff that comes forward. Just like how what we cleared here, we can clear on those levels as a group. Actually, groups are very potent because we all
Yeah.
hold an energy, and all of our people and all of our spirit teams are there to help clear the energy. So it's very powerful.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, community is going to be big going forward
That's
in the
right.
new paradigm. Awesome. Thank you so much for that. How
Right.
wonderful. And I will include all your links in the show details so people just have to click, go down, and it'll all be there for you nice and easy. It's just a link away. Um, well, thank you so much, Stacy
Thank you.
Hernandez, for coming on. I have a feeling it's
Yeah.
not going to be the last time. You are appreciated.
You too.
I'll never forget the reading you gave me today, so thank you so much.
Thank you.
And just thank you for your service.
Thank you. You
All right.
too.
Okay. All right. Goodbye, everyone.